Ugh. Yeah, that's not great. Today we're talking about strawberries. Do expensive ones really taste better than cheap ones? And also we're going to test different ways of storing them once you get them home to see how you can make sure they don't go rotten. In one of our biggest taste tests yet, we've got some of the most expensive strawberries in London, and we've also got some of the cheapest, wonkiest ones, and we're going to go out on the streets and find out which ones you guys think taste best. You probably know strawberries from Wimbledon tennis, Pick Your Own, and those lovely little tarts that Patisserie Valerie used to sell. Strawberries are a seasonal fruit which grow beautifully in the English summer. Between May and October, we produce some of the best strawberries in the entire world. Outside of that time, they have to come in from places like Peru and Morocco. For the last few years, we've struggled to have enough people to actually pick our strawberries because of Brexit. However, we're actually getting over that now. Strawberries are a soft fruit, which means they're very delicate to handle. They bruise easily, and you also have to store them carefully when you get them home. That's why we've tested 3 different ways of storing them for an entire week to see which ones go bad quickest. We're testing 4 different types of strawberries today, including secret expensive strawberries. At the lower end, we've got 3 different varieties from Morrison's. Now, we specifically went with one supermarket to see if the increase in cost is genuinely worth it. At the lowest end, we've got Morrison's Naturally Wonky strawberries, which are £1.19 for 224 grams, which is £5.24 per kilogram. Next up, we've got Morrison's regular strawberries, which are £2.29 for 350 grams, which is £6.54 per kilogram. Then we've got Morrison's The Best strawberries, which are £2.49 for 300 grams, which is £8.30 per kilogram. And lastly, we've got the most expensive strawberries that I could find at Borough Market, which were from a vendor called Elsie and Ben. Now, these were £5 a punnet. However, I've weighed them and it's 441 grams, which is £11.33 per kilogram. There's one really interesting fact which I think that everyone should realise is that none of these weigh the same. So you might be in the supermarket looking at different punnets of strawberries and comparing the prices. However, we've got 224 grams, 350 grams, 300 grams and 441 grams. So they're all completely different. In fact, this one is nearly double the amount of strawberries of that one. When it comes to the increase in price, you've got a jump of £1 per kilo to get to those, a jump of £2 per kilo to get to those, and then a jump of £3 per kilo to get to those. So they are definitely the most expensive. Eating locally and seasonally might sound like a middle-class trope, but when it comes to strawberries, it really is true because British strawberries are world famous. They taste amazing. You should absolutely try and eat them between May and October. Now, when it comes to the environmental impact, fresh fruit and veg that we grow in the UK generally has a very low environmental impact, so that's pretty safe. Now, 80 grams of strawberries, like that there, produces around 136 grams of CO2. Now, that's equivalent to just 3 grams of beef. So you can see how much more efficient they are. However, if your strawberries were flown from Morocco, it would treble the environmental impact, which is why it's not really worth eating them in the winter. Plus, they never taste as good anyway. And all of the strawberries that we're taste testing today were grown in the UK, so that's a massive win. When it comes to health and nutrition, strawberries are around 90% water, and they're also a lower sugar fruit. They're also high in fibre. Basically, eat them. They're a very healthy thing to eat, and if you ever see some lunatic in the supermarket with his top off telling you not to eat fruit because it spikes your blood glucose or some ridiculous nonsense, then just ignore them. They're talking out of their...
It's clearly trying to kill you. Kale is bullshit.
Honestly, there's nothing more to say. They're good for you, just eat them. The way you store your strawberries can have a massive impact on how long they last. So we're going to test this with 3 different methods of storage. I went to the shops, I bought 3 packs of strawberries that were exactly the same from the same place with the same expiry date. I washed them when I got them home, and I also picked out any berries which had started to go a bit soggy. I then put one bowl in the fridge at about 3 degrees centigrade, another in the fridge at around 7 to 8 degrees centigrade, and then I left another bowl at room temperature, and then I filmed them for an entire week to see at what rate they go bad. As you can see, the strawberries that we stored at 3 degrees lasted a lot longer than the ones at room temperature. And it's time for the fun bit, the taste test. First up, cheap ones, wonky strawberries. Now, just because they're wonky doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It just means they're the wrong size. They've been graded out, as it's called in the industry. So, these are now at room temperature, by the way. Strawberries taste better at room temperature because we're less sensitive to sweetness when it's cold. Think of ice cream. If you've ever eaten ice cream that's melted, it tastes so sickly sweet, but when it's cold, it tastes beautiful. Okay, wonky strawberry. Not so sweet, actually. Yeah, that's not great. Regular strawberry. It's nicer than that, much more neutral flavor. Still not very sweet though. Okay, let's go for the best. These are way bigger. These are getting bigger as we go along. These are tiny, these are medium, these are much larger. The best strawberry. Immediately sweeter. That's much nicer than any of those. By the way, it's good to wash your fruit before you eat it. Oh, it's true though. Things like strawberries, you end up with all these little bugs and things on them. You really should wash it, he says, and then he just dives straight in. So this is now the creme de la creme of strawberries. Oh no, that's a disappointment. Oh dear. They were actually the best. So in last place is those. These two were equal. They were quite neutral. And the best ones were actually the best. Let's go and see what everyone else thinks.
Best ones are these ones.
Between these two, yeah, I think that one.
And this one. So my favorite is that one. And number one.
That was 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stay up. That one, yeah.
So in reverse order, these ones are Morrison's wonky strawberries, so they're the cheapest. They're Morrison's just regular strawberries. These are Morrison's like the best, and these are the Borough Market £5 punnet ones. So they're the Borough Market ones.
It's got an expensive taste.
Yeah.
So which strawberries actually win the taste test? Well, one thing to note before we go on to the results is that strawberries within a pack do differ in flavour. Like you can have a single pack of strawberries, you can eat one and it tastes good, then you can eat the next one and it doesn't taste quite as good. So there's a lot of variation within individual packs. You also might have noticed that I bought all of the strawberries from the supermarket from one single supermarket, from Morrison's, and there's a good reason for this. I wanted to find out if it's worth paying extra for premium strawberries, as in, is there value in spending more? So if I bought from different supermarkets, it wouldn't have shown that as clearly because I needed to find out if value versus regular versus premium were worth the extra money. If you guys really want, we can go around and do a mega test and buy strawberries from every single supermarket in London and see which ones taste better, but I mean, that's a big thing to do, but we could do it. So let's get on to the winners now. If you like this video and you're enjoying it and you want to see more of them, hit like and subscribe, and also let me know in the comments what other foods you want us to test. So in last place was the wonky strawberries. Unfortunately, they were small, they weren't very sweet, they were a little bit sour, some of them, they didn't taste so great. Hardly anyone, I don't think, did anyone even like them? Anyway, I didn't really like them, so really sadly, they come in last place. Next up in third place was the Borough Market strawberries. I was really disappointed by these. Having spent £5 on a punnet, I thought these were going to be absolutely amazing, but almost nobody rated them best. The biggest difference was that the strawberries from Borough Market were a really rich, deep red, and unfortunately I've eaten them all now, so I can't show you, but they had a much more richer colour than the other strawberries. But on flavour, they just really didn't do it. So that just leaves Morrison's regular and Morrison's the best strawberries. And from my taste testing and also from several of the other people we saw in the street, I think the best strawberries Pipit here, they were the sweetest. They did have the nicest flavour out of all of them. So to answer the original question, is it worth paying extra for premium strawberries? Well, yeah, it is.